You're listening to the Flow Theory Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wade Peery, and boy, oh boy, am I fired up to welcome today's next guest. Do not adjust your audio levels out there, ladies and gentlemen, because this man may sound and look like former MMA legend and YouTube superstar Kimbo Slice. But make no mistake about it, this man pounded and pummeled his way into the hearts and minds of Ohio Bobcat football fans forever. He finished his career as Ohio's all-time leading rusher with 4,398 rushing yards, and he had 903 rushing attempts, a school record. That is an absolutely massive workload, ladies and gents. He was 3-time first team All-Mid-American Conference, 2005, 2006, and 2007. And in 2006, helped guide the Ohio Bobcat football program to their first MAC East title since 1968. And also helped the Bobcats punch their ticket to the GMAC Bowl against the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Ladies and gents, please welcome to the show, standing at 5'11", 208 pounds, hailing from Decatur, Georgia, Kalvin Big Play McRae. Kalvin, thanks so much for coming on the show, big guy.
Nah, it's my pleasure, man. I definitely appreciate you having me. Been looking forward to doing this, man. I think we're gonna have some great things to talk about, man, and just kind of do like you and I do, man. Just have a great conversation.
You got it, my man. Let's talk about the song Vision. Let's talk about Vision and Vision by OBOY and why you picked that. I like that beat myself.
With me, man, music is huge about everyday life. There was something about that beat that just kind of spoke to me, man. Just something I could see myself riding to and just vibing out to, man. It spoke to me, so I chose it. I don't know if I actually picked it. I think it picked me.
That's funny, man. I can honestly see that. I kind of envision that song actually to like the background of a college football highlight video. I'll be honest. Like I can see the players getting fired up in the tunnel,
Exactly, man. Exactly.
And one of the first things I want to talk about with you is one of the games that you had in the zone when you absolutely ripped Ball State. I think you went for over 240?
Yeah, you know what? I want to say it's like 260 or 270, man. And that's one of the games I vividly remember. That was sophomore year homecoming. And, like you said, Ball State came in, man, and it wasn't anything special about it going into the game. It wasn't like we had this special game plan, or it's not like I felt, like, damn. Sometimes you step on the field and it's like, all right, today's going to be a good day. You feel me? But it wasn't anything special about it, man. It was just, like you said, you get in those zones, man. And anytime you can have a game like that, you best believe the dudes around you are doing what they're supposed to do. So, as always, man, you got to show love on your offensive line and the fullbacks and the tight ends, receivers, man. Because anytime you look into a highlight and you see a running back making a long run, I can guarantee you that there's a key block from an O-lineman or there's a receiver somewhere downfield blocking. But that game, man, that was just it's one of those games, man. We got it in that one.
That's good you mentioned your offensive line, Kalvin. Why don't you talk about playing with a guy like David White? I always really loved talking to David over the years. And I talked to him numerous times. And, he was always one of our best offensive linemen.
Absolutely, man. D. White, man. David White. He still gives me shit about my beard and I give him shit about his. He tells me I look homeless, and I tell him he needs to shave his. But offensive line, D. White, man, it's just the offensive line in general. Just great dudes. I always say offensive linemen are strange birds. If you've ever spent time with an offensive lineman in their element, like on the field, they're weird, dude. They're weird, but you can't live without them. You know what I mean? And D. White in particular, I remember him just being a hard worker, getting after it, and just making shit happen on a consistent basis. And obviously that's why he went on to have a really good career.
Yeah, it's good you mentioned the offensive line. I really feel like the offensive line in general, people that really know football really well know it all starts up front on both sides of the ball at the line of scrimmage. Like without it, you're nothing. The running backs, Peyton Manning would have been nothing without his offensive line. They just take such a massive beating in the trenches with all those, all of them wear those knee braces now, which has become a staple for a really long time in football. I tell you, I got nothing but respect for the guys up front. I used to love standing in practice at fall camp, standing behind the line of scrimmage and just watching the collision of the line of scrimmage.
Oh my God.
I was just kind of amazed at it. I kind of felt like I was watching like the Greeks versus the Romans,
I think that's a great way to put it, man. It's such a violent, they don't call it the trenches for nothing, and it's so violent. And it's funny that they take such a beating. I can remember Matt Coppage, man. Played left tackle for us in 2005 and 6. Dude, it took like 2 or 3 people to get him in and out his pads because his shoulders were so bad. He had on double braces, and I can remember him not even practicing some days throughout the week, but he toughed it out and found a way to get out there on Saturdays and give it his all, man. So, people who don't understand the game, offensive linemen get the least amount of attention, but they should damn sure get more, and they get all love from me, man. Those dudes put it on the line every single day, every single play, man. Gotta love your line.
Yeah, you're a smart man, Kalvin. Did you ever? I know in the pros they always take their offensive linemen out to dinner and stuff like that. Was there anything special you ever did for the offensive linemen at OU?
Maybe give them a couple of swipes in the dining hall, but that's it, man. You talking about a broke college kid? I ain't have no damn money, so I couldn't take them out to eat, which I would have loved to have done if I were able to, but. That's why if you hear me in any interview back in the day or even to this day now, man, one of the first things I'm going to do is recognize my offensive linemen and the dudes around me because, I've always said that made my job so much more easier.
Yeah, there's no question, running back couldn't do what they do without offensive linemen, man. They take a severe beating in the trenches. Nothing but respect for all the offensive linemen at OU, and they really helped to carry us to the MAC East title more than anything else. Without a solid offensive line, we would not have been there.
Not at all.
Let's talk about the Northern Illinois game, 2006. This was an absolute classic. Garrett Wolf, Jesus Christ, did this guy go fucking bananas? This man, 285 all-purpose yards, versus Ohio State, who, by the way, was the top-ranked team in America that year. What in the hell were you guys doing when you were watching the tape of Garrett Wolf gashing the top-ranked Buckeyes? I would have been like, holy shit, we're in for it.
So it's funny because I met Garrett. I met him at MAC Media Day over the summer. And we knew who each other were. That was my first time meeting them. And we kind of, we knew we were playing each other that year. So it's kind of like, hey, let's put on a good show, go out there and do our thing. I didn't watch film on him because I was an offensive player, but I knew, having seen him before, I knew the defense had their hands full. And goddamn, man, he, I can remember being on the sideline saying, "Shit, I don't know if we're gonna stop them." And we had a hell of a defense that year. Man, you talking Matt Muncy,
Tyler Russ,
Michael Graham, Mike Mitchell, Dwayne Cohen. We had dudes on defense, but he was just that talented. So on the sideline, you're like, all right, man, look, we got to score some points today because this motherfucker ain't playing, man. He's the real deal. It was great to watch. It's a certain appreciation you have being on the sideline and watching another running back do his thing, even if it's against your team. At some point, it's like, all right, that's a damn nuts now. You proving your point. But it is, there's an appreciation there. He wasn't a big guy. He wasn't big at all. But he got the most out of everyone. He was a hell of a back out of the backfield, man. Dude was solid, he was solid.
Yeah, he led the country in rushing yards that year. He had 1,928 rushing yards that year.
Yeah, I believe it, man. I believe it. And it's, you talk about that game. So that year we played Tennessee Martin first. And, I think we kind of went in with like a little vanilla game plan. And, like in your mind, you're like, okay, Division II school, we should win this game. You have a conference game, the second game of the year. So it's like, you don't want to really show anything. Well, the Tennessee Martin, those dudes came to play, and that ended up being more of a game than it should have, right? So I go into Northern Illinois thinking like, okay, I got to bounce back. Like, this is a bounce back game. You knew the hype going into it. Again, it's a conference game. And side note, Juvenile, he had a song called Bounce Back. That was my pregame song way long. So like before every game, we would go back in after warm-ups before you go back out on the field for kickoff. That was the last song I listened to. So
Juvenile, Bounce Back. That's funny, man.
Bounce back, man. Absolutely. And then that's how I approached that game. Like, damn, I got to bounce back because didn't really have a good game offensively against Tennessee Martin. And another thing I remember about that game, man, Austin Everson fucking balled. I think he had to have the game of his career.
Oh yeah, he had over 300 passing yards that game.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Shout out to Ace.
He came out Willie Beeman style that game.
He did, man. I remember him hitting Will Norwood on like a seam route, just straight up the middle of the field. I think they might have been in cover 2 or something, and Will found that board between the safeties at 8, and it was probably the ugliest pass I ever seen. It was a duck, but it was the most accurate duck I've ever seen. And Will took it the rest of the way, man. And, that kind of set the tone, man. So, looking back on that game, I don't think I would have had the game that I was able to have if Ace didn't ball the way he did, if Austin didn't play as well as he did.
Yeah, man, you guys won that game 35-23. That was an absolute classic. Mm-hmm. I mean, you had over 200 all-purpose yards, and Wolf had 196 rushing yards and 2 TDs. Just a clash of two Titans.
It was, man. And I can remember late in the game, I think we scored a late touchdown, but it was a pivotal point in the game. And, we're standing on the sideline, and Justin Fitzgerald, shout out to Fitz, that's my dog, that's my brother. Fitz is like, oh, shit. And I'm like, what? He's like, they're going 0 blitz. Coach Burrow was like, fuck it, we're blitzing. I mean, everybody. It's like, all right, we're going to man up on the corner.
Cover 0, we bring in the house.
It was like, and I'm like, oh, shit. Like I said, this was a pivotal point in the game. That the pressure was able to get there, and I think it was like, I think it ended up being an incomplete pass. And, we had a turnover on downs, and we kind of scored a couple plays later. Got a late touchdown.
Yeah, what an epic game. I tell you what. That was one of Austin's. I looked at Austin's stat line in that game. I was like, holy cow. Kalvin was not kidding, man. This man balled this game.
He balled, man. Absolutely.
It's a great choice. I'm very fascinated, Kalvin. If you ever got to talk to Coach Solich, I never really heard many of the players ask Coach Solich about his Nebraska days. I mean, I'm a college football junkie, so one day we were in the office, and Coach Solich will never remember who the hell I am, but Anyways, one day in the office, I'll never forget it. They had just named 95 Nebraska the greatest college football team of all time, right? And I'm in the room getting ready to run the scoreboard. And I was like, hey, Coach Solich. He's like, oh, yeah, what's that? I was like, you know, they named the greatest college football team of all time, don't you? He goes, who's that? I was like, 95 Nebraska. He just looked at me. He smiled and he goes, good team. God, that team balled out, dude. Touchdown, Tommy Frazier.
Come on, man. I mean, that was a super talented team, although I do disagree with that because I feel like the 2001 Miami Hurricanes was the best college football team ever. But, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That's not we're not going to debate that. I never personally talked to Coach Solich about Nebraska. He did, and you think back and look at the dudes, the running backs they had, and you talking Heisman Trophy winners, but he came up to me one day and he said, Kalvin, I just want you to know you're doing a great job. Your running style is right up there with, the running backs I've had at Nebraska. And like you say, he may not remember ever telling me that, but that was a huge confidence boost. You know what I mean? To know, you talk about, who? Yeah, Lawrence Phillips, Amon Green, there's so many great running backs. And him being a fullback in college and understanding the position, that did wonders for my confidence, especially have a new coach coming in. So to hear him say that was huge for me. It just made me feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, dude. Touchdown Tommy Frazier to this day, Kalvin, one of my all-time favorite college football players. One of my first memories of watching college football when I was a little kid, dude. Watching touchdown Tommy Frazier.
Yeah, dude was legit, man. You definitely can't deny that one.
God,
not that at all.
Watching his highlights against Florida in the Orange Bowl. I mean, what a beast, dude. Yeah. And I remember one of the first days I got to watch Coach Solich. He was coaching the option one day in practice, and I like froze for a second because I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, one of the greatest option coaches of all time is coaching the option right in front of my face. This is epic. Like,
absolutely. Nah, you're right, man. That's good shit, man. It was just, Coach Solich was or is a man of few words, man. But when he speaks, you listen, and when he speaks, it's typically good advice. So anytime he spoke to me, I listened and I paid attention and tried to apply whatever he was telling me to my game, man, and it damn sure worked out for me.
Yeah, Coach Solich, not really a flashy guy, but just big on the fundamentals, and he really kept things simple out there in practice, like just watching his demeanor and everything. And I'll be honest, like I don't ever remember him just getting absolutely just livid, Like I think he had like control of the team without just absolutely losing his mind, like I've seen Nick Saban do like endless amounts of times,
I think Coach Solich yelled at me once. We were at Rutgers and we went sprint out. First time I blocked the outside linebacker, I got him pretty good. I blocked, I got my block. The second time I missed the block, and it was like 3 plays later. Coach Solich was still yelling at me about missing that block. I was like, damn, man, okay. I don't think I missed the block the rest of my career. I was like, I can't have Coach Solich yelling at me 3 plays after I've missed the block. Like, damn, let me get my shit together, man.
Yeah, that's funny, dude. Like I always see so many college football players and college basketball players getting yelled at, on national TV. And I always think to myself, I'm like, you know what? It probably doesn't work that well, but more often than not, it seems to work.
Yeah, man. Now being a coach, I think a huge part of coaching is figuring out your players. You know what I mean? Certain players respond well to yelling, and some of them don't, And I think the ones who can handle the yelling, they use that as motivation, man. A coach's job is to get the most out of you. And you have to figure out how to get that accomplished, man. But you say the average person looking at that on TV and they'll say, oh, that coach is mean. He shouldn't be. Dude, it's sports, man. You go into it knowing that, all right, I may get ripped may get ripped apart by this coach, but I know ultimately he cares about me. He wants what's best for me. And I think that's one of the things I appreciated about Coach Alvin. He and I kind of had an understanding early on. I think he yelled at me a couple of times, and then he realized, like, man, that's not how I need to reach him. And it's been great ever since.
That's good, man. Yeah, it's definitely different for everyone. And I definitely agree with you. I saw a lot of people ripping Tom Izzo at Michigan State, for yelling at his players. It's like, guys, like, Tom Izzo's been doing that for years. That's part of how that's part of the reason that Michigan State is so good, because Tom Izzo demands so much out of his players at all times.
Exactly, man. And that's just the one thing they see, and that's part of the problem with society. We're making, we're in that aspect of it anyway. You kind of make your judgment off of one thing you see, where you don't see the relationship Tom Izzo has built with his players throughout the years. How none of his players have anything negative to say about him. But you see him yelling at a kid on the sideline, like, oh, now he's a bad coach. Like, all right, folks, let's just lighten up. He's a coach. He knows how his players are going to respond to him. He's been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Like, people are sensitive as shit when it comes to that.
Yeah, I agree, Kalvin. It's definitely an oversensitive culture in an endless amount of ways. I mean, we would have to start a whole new podcast just for that, Kalvin.
Yeah. Oh man.
But one thing I'm very curious, and I have my choices on this. I'm more curious to hear yours on this. I want to hear your top 3 or top 4 hits that you saw at Ohio in a game or practice.
That's you put me on the spot with that one.
But I can start with mine, and then you can, maybe it'll refresh yours. You ready?
All right. Yep, you go ahead.
All right. I tell you one, I'll never forget this until I die. Ohio at Virginia Tech. What was it? 2007? 2007.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor played for the Hokies. The Hokies also had Xavier Adibi and Vince Hall. Shout out to that duo. One of the best linebacking duos I've ever seen in my life. But
I agree.
And I got tickets. I somehow got tickets 15 rows off the field, 50-yard line. And I'll never forget, before that game, I saw Steven Jackson in the library. And Steven Jackson's like, hey, wait, I don't know if Mitch is going to be able to go. And this is, of course, Mike Mitchell, one of the hardest hitting football players I've ever seen in my life, because his shoulder was messed up. I was like, all right, like Mitch isn't going to be able to play. Next thing I know, Tyrod Taylor lofts the absolute biggest hospital ball I've ever seen. And fucking Mitch just absolutely kills the guy across the middle. And the ball just shoots in the air. And you were telling me that Landon caught it, but God, did Mike Mitchell fucking kill that guy.
Shit, if I pick 5, all 5 of them might be Mike Mitchell. That's definitely on there. And I get back to that one. But I remember we were the punt return or something, and Eric Ejiki hit it. He had a crackback block on the outside line. He fucking destroyed somebody. Oh my God. I mean,
I love a good crackback block, bro.
Oh my God.
Have you seen the crack? There's like a crackback highlight video on YouTube. I gotta send you, dude. It's 5 minutes. Oh, bro. Have you seen the one where the guy from Wisconsin just decleats the guy from Nebraska? Oh,
that was a Big Ten championship. Man. That touchdown got called back too. I remember that.
He absolutely killed that guy. God.
Yeah. So back to your Virginia Tech hit. Like you said, you described it perfectly. Throws the ball, boom. Mike comes out, plow. Great contact. Ball flies in the air. And again, I'm on the sideline like, oh shit, okay, good hit. Next thing I know, Landon, out of all people, Landon Cohen takes the ball off the tip. And he goes straight running back mode. Like, in his mind, he's going to stiff arm two people, spin on somebody, and have a pick six. My man probably got 3 yards and got tackled. Yeah, like 3 yards off the interception. But again, in his mind, he was like, fuck this. I'm about to take this to the house.
I'm about to Heisman this to the end zone.
Exactly. I bet you in his mind, he saw himself high stepping from the 20 in Lane Stadium. And his ass ended up getting like 3 yards and got tackled, man. But you got to love LC, man. You know, Landon, obviously, one of my closest friends off the team, and you know, who went on to have a really great career. Played in the Super Bowl, won the Grey Cup in Canada, and you know, he's doing great with his businesses now, man. But shout out to LC.
Yeah, I tell you, I didn't remember Landon picking that off, but man, I will never forget. I will never forget that hit that Mitch laid on that guy. Man, he destroyed that guy. God.
People don't understand, man. You saw the hits in the league with Mike. You know what I mean? But people don't understand how intense he was, how much he loved the game, and how hard he worked. You know, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that worked as hard as Mike Mitchell did. And again, going the second round to the Raiders, and he goes on to have a great career that he had, man. You know, it was well deserved. The dude put in the work, man. His intensity. I remember messing with Mike, kind of reverse psychology on Mike. He's like, man, I'm going to play as a freshman. I'm like, man, you ain't going to be ready to play. But I saw something in him. You know, I saw something in him and I was trying to push him. You know, I didn't know if he probably didn't see it that way. He started like, man, this dude hating on me. Don't think I can play. But I saw something in him and kind of understand the Mike, man, just try to put that fire on him, something to fuel him, to push him a little harder. He definitely played as a freshman. And I think a lot of the people we played against would say, damn, I wish he didn't play because he fucked some dudes up along the way.
Shout out to Mike Mitchell for laying some fucking hits, dude. For a man to be that willing to sacrifice his body, like he's like the Dennis Rodman of football, absolutely laid his body on the line every single fucking snap without question.
Every game,
like one of the most fearless fucking individuals I've ever seen in my life. Like, shout out to Mike Mitchell.
If you haven't watched his highlight tape, go check it out, man. Mike Mitchell, dude, you are going to see some good hits. I'm encouraging everybody out there, man. Go check out Mike Mitchell college highlights. Shit, check out the pro highlights too, man.
Dude, and you know, a funny story I have for you about Mitch at Ohio, I'll never forget. Somehow I was on the sideline near, Jimmy Burrow and Mike Mitchell, and Mitch had just laid a hit on a guy, and he stands over him. He's like, "That's right, bitch!" And Coach Burrow goes, "Michael, you need to calm down." I was like, that's like Mitch in a nutshell, dude. Like Captain Intensity. I was like, let's go. Mitch is like going full speed in practice. Like, God. I loved it. It's just like, man, just 110% every single snap. It didn't matter if it's a practice. It didn't matter if his own teammates. Mike Mitchell was going to bring the pain.
Yes, he was. And he did it, too. He definitely did it.
God, dude. I tell you, another great hit. Mike Hinton, oh, my God. Scott Mayo ran a post route. I was running the scoreboard in the spring game, I think, and Scott Mayo runs a fucking post route across the middle. And Mike Hinton absolutely destroyed him across the middle. Like, he smacked him so bad, dude.
It's funny you say that, man. You talk about hard hits. And I feel bad because it was all my teammates. But I saw Scott. We were at Miami maybe my sophomore year. And Scott ran a slant. Miami had a safety. Can't remember his first name, but his last name was Pusatez. And I mean, he hit Scott so hard on that slant, like bust his shin. And I'm pissed. I'm pissed because he set it over, Scott. Man, I'm about to fuck up. Scott, Kenny, all right, you got the hit on him. You stand over him. All right, now we got to fight, But I'm not going to lie, man. That was probably one of the hardest hits I've ever seen, too, man. But Scott ate that shit. He got back in the game, man.
Dude, and for those people that don't know about Mike Hinton, like Mike Hinton was something out of a Under Armour commercial. I'll never forget watching Mike at practices. Like he would have like the Under Armour skull cap like out like 30 minutes before practice. Dude wouldn't have his shirt on, like just straight carved from granite. Like check out his videos on like he's like, what's he squatting like 500 now? Like he's just putting up insane amount of weight. I'm like, Mike, you were a freak, dude.
Crazy, man. Yeah, absolutely, he was.
Just a physical freak, dude. Like looking at him, I was just like, God damn! Like, did we just get the second coming of Vernon Davis? Jesus.
Yeah, man. To be that tall and that athletic and built that way to still be able to run, man, that's a rare combination. Hinton definitely had it. You know, wish he could have played more for us, but shit didn't work out. And, but the time he did play, man, he never plays for us.
Yeah. And he's doing well with his training business now in Alaska. So
yeah, good for him. And I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Now, I'll never forget the discussion. Speaking of Mike Hinton, I'll never forget the discussion in the dining hall amongst the players. This is an epic college football discussion. It was who is the better college football quarterback of all time, Vince Young versus Michael Vick. Everyone in the dining hall was all for Vince Young, and Mike Hinton stood up for Mike Vick.
Yeah, you talk about a hit, man. Hinton came from Virginia Tech, man. So naturally he's going to. And it's funny because looking back on it, I probably would pick Michael Vick too. The one thing I would say that Vince Young had over Vick was winning that national championship.
Right.
The way Michael Vick took college football by storm. Come on, man. And in a sense, you could damn near say Vick made it possible for Vince Young to go on to do what he was able to do. Because now it was that, all right, we got to get us a mobile quarterback.
He kind of paved the road for him. I mean, like
he did, man.
I liked watching both of them. I mean, both are fascinating quarterbacks, and one of the things that I will go on a little rant about Mike Vick. So many people get up in arms about Mike Vick and the dog stuff. Like all I have to say is the man served his time. Like people want to bitch about, okay, I'm not condoning dog violence here by any means. All right. But you know what? The man served his prison sentence. Let it go, for God's sake. I, for one, loved watching the guy play football, and I was super excited when he was back. And I loved watching him take a goddamn blowtorch to the Redskins. That was an epic.
Yeah, man. You remember that one?
God, that was an epic game, dude.
Was really on like 7 touchdowns that game, something crazy like that.
Dude.
First play of the game, he hits Deshaun Jackson. I mean, just on point, like perfect. Michael Vick could just with a flick of the wrist throw the ball 60, 70 yards, it seemed like. Because everything he did was accurate.
Because apparently, LaRon Landry was lined up across from Deshaun Jackson on that play. And you remember, I think the previous game, Deshaun Jackson had a concussion. And so LaRon Landry, being the idiot that he is, he decided to act like he was going to put Deshaun Jackson to sleep. And sure enough, he got cooked, man. D-Jax absolutely fried him, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But we had so many discussions like that. Whether it be in the dining hall or the locker room, man. Those were the days, man. You being able to have those discussions about some of the silliest shit at times, but you get a group of guys like that together and they're so strong-headed and opinionated, you're going to get epic discussions and epic debates like that, man. That was one of the many, rather, that we had over the years.
Yeah, Vince Young, dude. Oh, man, I will never forget the Rose Bowls that he had. One against Michigan and then against USC. Shout out to Pete Carroll for leaving Reggie Bush on the sidelines. Hey, guys, we're going to leave our best player on the fucking sidelines, and we're going to make it obvious where we're going with the ball. Texas sent the fucking house up the middle.
It did.
God, that was.
Know. It'd be interesting to go back and look at the numbers on that game with the over, under, and the spread, man. But Vegas, I don't know, man. If you got to figure a lot of people put money on USC, so Vegas probably cashed in that day.
Yeah, I mean, that game, the build up to that game, to me, in my lifetime, I mean, there's been some epic national title games, but the build up to that one, Texas and USC just fucking destroyed everyone. And it's funny, they each had like a close game or two, you know, remember like, USC struggled with Fresno State. Like, that was mind blowing, you know?
Yeah. I tell you, Reggie Bush had a huge ass game.
Oh, dude.
You look at
Reggie had over 500 all-purpose yards that game, bro.
That game. You look back at that thing. I don't know if that was the same year or the year before. That whole Notre Dame game when Matt Leinart did a quarterback sneak, Reggie Bush put some in, man. Any team that makes a national championship run, you're gonna have some close calls, man.
Right.
It's too hard to get up for every game, right?
Yeah.
You know, you look at the USC, Notre Dame, you know they're gonna be ready to play that game. USC, you know they're gonna be ready to play that game. UCLA, I mean, they're gonna be ready to play that game. But you got USC versus Fresno State, like, come on, man. And their minds are like, everybody beat the shit out of them. And it just didn't work out that way. But, you know, good for USC that they had the best college running back I've ever seen.
Oh,
Reggie
yeah.
Bush.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even close.
It was so beautiful watching Reggie Bush run the football. I mean, to me, what a crime that the Heisman Trust took away his Heisman Trophy. People are going to get sick of hearing me say that on this podcast, but you know what? I'll fucking say it 5 million times because it was one of the biggest injustices in college football history because money is not an performance-enhancing substance. Reggie earned that Heisman fair and fucking square. He's one of the best players ever to play the game in any position.
I agree, man. That was always my thoughts on it too. It's not like he took the money and the money was like, oh, this is gonna make me run faster. This is gonna make me catch better.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Mikkel Simpson said. You're not paying the defensive players to not tackle him. Hey, here's $500. Don't tackle Reggie Bush. You know what I mean? They're all trying to keep their jobs too. You know?
Yeah, they tried to tackle him. They just couldn't. Man.
Dude, Reggie, God, that one where he stopped on a dime, bro, and cut back. Ooh, God, I mean that is just so graceful and just. The vision, like, it was like he was running on air, man. Like, just on a whole nother level.
Man, that's one of the marks of a good running back, man. Your ability to stop and start. You know, stop, start, change your direction, but get back to top speed quickly. And Reggie had that, man. He had that. He had great vision, great balance. He was strong, and he was fast, man. He was, you know, I remember the first game of the season they played against Virginia Tech. And they lined him up at receiver. He just ran a fade route.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was a running back. And he just ran by whoever the DB was.
He just roasted him. You can't guard Reggie Bush. He's one of the most unguardable players in college football history.
So, and that was the dilemma. You stack the box to try to stop him running it. All right, we're going to split him out and let him play receiver. You have to play him one-on-one. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. He cooked him, dude. He absolutely torched them. Like, in the slot, it was just go route, see you later, deuces. I'm going to the end zone. You can taste my cleat dust. See you later.
Yeah, buddy.
And I got one more hit for you. I'll be interested to hear if you remember this one because I don't know if I have the player right on this from Ohio who hit the quarterback, but God, I will never forget this hit. Drew Willie of Buffalo got absolutely fucking smashed on the sideline. You remember that?
I don't, man.
He got hit.
I'm trying to think.
He got hit by David Escobar. I think he got a concussion and he was out for like 10 minutes. Dude, yeah. Escobar blasted him, bro. Blasted him.
Yeah, shit. I mean, better him than one of our quarterbacks, I guess. But I don't remember that hit, man. That's one I don't.
He got absolutely rocked. Yeah. Kalvin, one thing I'm curious, you know, what I was talking to you about is how often do people ask you if you look like, if you're Kimbo Slice, because you look so much like him, dude, with the beard, and you're like a smaller version of Kimbo. One of my favorite athletes of all time. Shout out to Kimbo Slice. We love you forever.
Yeah, man. I just say it got to the point that if one more person would have said that they were going to get hit like Kimbo Slice, that's how often it happened. I was going to hit somebody like Kimbo Slice. I remember I had a workout with the Jets, man. I just got cut from Kansas City, and I had a workout up with the Jets. And I don't know where the team was at the time, but I think they brought in three running backs, you know, and we finished the workout. We go back in the locker room, shower. I'm putting on my clothes, and I don't know who the dude was. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But the team starts to walk back in, and somebody yells out, "Oh, shit, I didn't know we were signing Kimbo Slice." I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, damn, man, I'm just trying to take my shower and get out of here, man. But no, it's in a sense, man, it's an honor. You know, because you look at what Kimbo was able to do, man, that's like the true American dream. You talk about a dude that was fighting people in the backyard. You know what I mean? He's fighting people in the backyard and made his way to the octagon, man. You know, so like you said, man, shout out to Kimbo, man. That's a true legend right there. Miami dude, man. Florida dude, actually.
Yeah,
man. I rock with Kimbo tough.
Yeah, the documentary there's a documentary on YouTube that everyone out there should watch about Kimbo Slice. It literally had me in tears after watching it because Kimbo was such a big part of our generation, you know, like he was fighting on YouTube as we were in college. I felt like we kind of like grew up with Kimbo, you know, like we got through college and then Kimbo gets elevated to the octagon. I mean, it was the coolest shit ever. The fact that a guy could fight people in the backyard for $50 a fight to put money on the table for his family and to fucking hit that guy with dreads the way that he did. It's the most epic knockout I will ever see in my life, Kalvin. I mean, God, he smashed that.
The crazy part to me was, if you had been, you had seen him fight and you knew what this dude could do, it's $50 worth getting your eye knocked out. Like, why would you continue? Like, what would possess you to say, "Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna fight Kimbo"? Like, nah, man, I'm cool. I would save up pennies and quarters and get my $50 before I try to fight that dude, man. Like, I never understood why dudes continue to try to fight him. Yeah, and they got the same result every time, man.
Oh, but I mean, for my viewing enjoyment, I'm glad they did. But I tell you, another thing that blew my mind is that a random kid, a little skinny kid, would take $100. There's a video on YouTube where Kimbo, they throw a hospital ball to this kid. And he gets tackled by Kimbo, literally to this day, one of the hardest hits I will ever see in my life. Kimbo gets horizontal with this guy, and the guy is like motionless on the ground.
It's so dumb. And this is like on South Beach. Like, you catch this dude walking down the sidewalk on South Beach. Like, hey, we'll give you $100 to take this hit. I mean, he just, God damn, so imagine Kimbo being on a football field. You know, he was a football player. Imagine him being on the field. You know he destroyed some dude. That mentality he had fighting on a football field, he took that mentality and put it on a football field. You see him coming, you better get out of the way.
Yeah, Kimbo. And the best part about that documentary, that what really, like, I was crying at the end of it, what really moved me to tears about Kimbo Slice was how everyone talked about, what an amazing person Kimbo Slice was.
Yeah.
It's not only the fact that like he's an incredible fighter, we've seen a lot of incredible fighters in our lifetime, but Kimbo, the combination of just being that rags to riches story, an incredible fighter, and just such an incredible human being, man. It made me cry at the end of that documentary.
He definitely just seemed like a real dude, man. Like, it was no bullshit. You knew what you were going to get with him, straight to the point. I'm going to be straight up 100 with you. If you don't like it, if you like it, cool. If you don't, oh well, do something about it. And you got to appreciate that because, I feel like I don't know how many true celebrities are like that at this point.
Yeah, I agree, Kalvin. There's definitely a lot of superficial people out there, which leads me to my next topic. We'll talk about your least favorite coach in college football. My least favorite, well, I got a couple, but Pete Carroll is up there. That guy, one of the fakest people alive. Shout out to Sneaky Pete, and shout out to Sneaky Pete for making Todd McNair take the fall for the Reggie Bush situation. Shout out to Sneaky Pete for that, because no one ever talks about that shit. The national media does not touch it. And it's like, what? Right, I followed this shit over the years, and Todd McNair got fucked over in the whole situation. So, you know what? Yeah, if you're gonna dick over Todd McNair, you sure as shit better dick over Pete Carroll. But oh no, Pete Carroll just scot free, wash his hands clean. Doesn't know anything about it. My God, that guy, he's got some nerve. And it's part of the reason why he and Russell Wilson get along so well, because every other word out of both of those guys' mouth is awesome, super cool, awesome, super cool. Hey guys, for once in your lives, could things not be super awesome and cool? You guys are like the super awesome and cool robots. It's so awesome. Hey, so awesome. It's going to be a great day.
But I rock with Wilson, though. I like Russell Wilson, man. You talk about the dude seems, to me, it's about people being genuine. And I just think dude is just, people call him corny or whatever. I think he is genuine with what he does. It's like the shit people used to give Tebow. Like, how do you hate Tebow for liking God? But, I rock with Russell Wilson, man. He's pretty solid to me. My least favorite coach, man, I was never a fan of Urban Meyer. I definitely applaud what he was able to do. Tremendous recruiter, able to accomplish some great things. You talk about winning national championships and whatnot. But, and this is me on the outside looking in, I don't know anything about Urban Meyer. It's just what it appears to be. For him, it was win at all costs. Now, I'm no Ohio State fan whatsoever, but I talked to people who played under Jim Trussell, and they were adamant about how much he cared about his players. Shit, he went down for trying to cover up something to take care of his players. You know what I mean? But Urban, man, he just seems like he's win at all costs. And you watch him on the sideline, it's like he's about to have a heart attack. I thought it was BS the way he left Florida. Like, okay, Tebow's gone, my Heisman Trophy quarterback's gone, shit's about to get real. I think I'm going to take some time off.
Esophageal spasm. I'm having a heart attack. Yeah. Tim Tebow, the love of my life, is gone.
And looking back on that, he did have some health issues, so I get and definitely understand that. But it just looked real shady at the time, man. But, I would have to put Urban in that category. But again, I definitely respect what he was able to do as a coach. There's no way you could deny that. And Dabo, man, dude just never seemed genuine to me. I'm sorry. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just going off my gut. Again, I don't know this man from the next dude walking down the street, but it just doesn't seem genuine to me. Again, I hope I'm wrong for his athlete's sake, and they will probably stick up for him, as I would if my coach was being, called out. But those are probably two that I'm not the hugest fans of, to be honest with you.
Sure, yeah. I've never been a big fan of Urban Meyer, too. Like you said, He always looks like he's about to stroke out on the sideline. Seems like a big fraud to me. I mean, he does. Looks like he's about to stroke out. I tell you, another guy I really hate, and I'm about to go in on him, Brian Kelly of Notre Dame. My God. Brian Kelly, that guy, Jesus Christ, that guy's face turns purple when his quarterback throws a pick. It's just like, my God.
Look,
go for it.
Let me go back. I'm sorry. Let me go back. Scratch Urban, scratch Dabo. You're 100% correct. I fucking hate Brian Kelly.
Fuck Brian Kelly, dude. Fuck him.
I can actually say I hate him, man. You remember when they had the film, the kid that died, man? Like it was winning conditions. They say, hey, probably don't need to be up there. No, get up there. The kid ended up dying,
50-mile-an-hour winds. Thanks a lot, Brian Kelly.
I tell you this. I remember we getting ready to play Central Michigan and the MAC championship. And we had to do a phone press conference. So it was myself, Coach Solich. I think Austin was in the office with us. And I'm pretty sure he had already been talking to Cincinnati because he left Central Michigan, went to Cincinnati. He had already been talking to Cincinnati about it. And I don't know if they thought the phone was hung. They had hung up the phone. But you could hear him arguing with his players or whoever was in the room with him. You know, and he's saying, I told you all if a better job opens up, I'm leaving. You know, it seemed real shitty to me, man. And again, the dude just, like you said, his face turn, you just look at it, he just has a dislikable face.
Brian Kelly treats his players like pieces of meat, dude.
Yeah, he does, man. You're right there. Fuck Brian Kelly.
Like, Brian Kelly. I'll never forget, bro. Brian Kelly fucking shoved his strength coach off. He grabs his strength coach by the shirt, shoves him off the field about 5 yards so his team didn't get a penalty. I get that. But after the game, Brian Kelly apologizes. He goes, I'm not going to apologize to anyone. It's like, fuck you, dude. You think you are bigger than God. Like, humble yourself. My God. Get over yourself, Brian Kelly. Jesus.
Yeah, he definitely has that arrogance about him, man. And like, what has he done at Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, they went to the national championship and got absolutely steamrolled by Nick Saban.
They got destroyed, man. They got destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of those programs. Each year they're going to be ranked up the top, near the top of the college football rankings, and they always find a way to blow it. They always find a way to blow it, man.
Brian Kelly, he's an absolute psycho, dude. Like, I cannot imagine being a incoming quarterback and watching the way he handles his quarterbacks with turnovers and being like, you know what? I think I'm going to sign up for that shit. Like, give me a break. Yeah. There's a reason all those quarterbacks leave early because they don't want to put up with Brian Kelly's shit. He is a fucking psychopath. The second they turn over the ball, the man's face turns purple. And you want to talk about stroking out? Man, there's about 10 or 15 times I could count for you that Brian Kelly's going to stroke out over the years. Jesus.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Good God, that guy is the worst. Just
listening to the Flow Theory Podcast. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and TuneIn.